Safety. In every working environment, there are risks involved in the work that is done every day. For example, the procedure of delivering exceptional coffees has you working with scalding hot water every single day. This in itself can be dangerous, and boiling water can give the skin a nasty burn, as well as stop you from working for a good couple of weeks if you get a bad burn. This is something that you definitely don't want to happen. So, because of this, we need to have safety precautions in place. Other than the general safety rules, which we will look at, the main safety precaution when dealing with such equipment and beverages is that the heat of the machine and water is at a temperature which can very easily burn you. The steam wand and other parts of the machine get extremely hot, as well as producing very hot water and steam, which can dramatically damage your skin if you are not careful. You need to know exactly how your equipment works, and you need to keep track of the maintenance schedules and keep up to date with them. Be sure to always observe safety procedures when working with electricity too. You need to work carefully at all times and be aware of the way that you work. Being careless and not concentrating when steaming, boiling, or pouring can end up getting you hurt. Generally, every staff member has duties to ensure the safety in their working environment. Firstly, you need to take reasonable care of the health and safety of yourself and your colleagues, and also your guests, who may be affected by any acts or if you leave specific tasks out of your safety routines. You also need to carry out any lawful order given to you by health and safety representatives or your employer, with their interests being health and safety for you and your guests. Finally, you need to report any situation which you feel is unsafe or unhealthy, or perhaps concerns you. You need to report this to the correct people. This way, the problem can be rectified as soon as possible. Ensure that your establishment has procedures set in place in the case of fires, armed robberies, and other possible accidents. Speak to your managers or supervisors about the policies and procedures for these things, as well as finding out about a fully stocked first aid kit and the staff members with adequate safety training. Know about all of these things and be careful about each of your procedures, and you are sure to maintain a healthy and safe working environment. Good luck. Cleanliness and hygiene. Cleanliness and hygiene are vital in ensuring that your establishment not only looks spotless and professional, but a clean working environment can also give you the confidence in the service you are providing to your guests, and that each and every product given is one of the highest quality and standard. When a guest sees that a workstation is spotless, hygienic, and in good working order, it immediately gives the impression that you are professionals and that the product they are about to receive will be of the same standard. We need to concentrate on a few important elements when it comes to cleanliness and hygiene. Firstly, and most importantly, personal hygiene. Every single person working with food or beverages needs to start with washing their hands. Washing your hands needs to be done at regular intervals, ensuring that you use an antibacterial hand soap, a sanitizer, and a paper towel. This needs to be placed next to the sink and within easy access for all staff members. It is also important to keep your fingernails short and clean. Be sure to limit the amount of jewelry that you wear, as this is simply neater and more hygienic. Also, avoid wearing nail polish, as this can look very untidy very quickly. Keep your hair tied back. Keep it neat and tidy and out of your face at all times. Your entire uniform always needs to be spotlessly clean. A clean, ironed apron and clothing show that you care for your establishment and your job. Wear deodorant every day and be careful not to overuse perfume or colognes, as this can be overpowering and it can affect your guest's experience of the beverage that they are enjoying. Then, aside from personal hygiene, there are general working cleanliness and hygiene procedures. Let's have a look at some of these. Firstly, clean as you go. Each and every time you make a beverage, clean up as you work, sweeping the grounds off the counter, purging and cleaning your steam wand, wiping the drip tray, sending dirty cups, saucers and utensils to be cleaned, as well as rinsing out pitchers and any other equipment used. Never leave a dirty workstation till the end of your shift. Clean as you go, and your station will look great and it will be functional at all times. Never forget, clean as you go. Secondly, great attention must be paid to never allowing your steam wand to become caked with the remains of calcified and burned milk and foam. This is unacceptable, as a dirty steam wand not only changes the flavor of the next pitcher of milk that you will texturize, but it also harbors harmful bacteria. Purge and clean your steam wand after every step of texturizing milk. Thirdly, have a system in place where 3 different cloths, preferably color-coded, are used for each piece of equipment. 1 cloth should be dedicated to cleaning the steam wands, 1 should be for the countertop and machine, and the 3rd one should be for the portafilter basket and equipment. These cloths should only be used for their dedicated purpose, so you don't cross-contaminate by taking germs or dirt from one element to the other. Also remember to replace these cloths frequently. Smell them all the time, and you will know when they need to be changed. Finally, soaking batches of your crockery is a great practice to instill, as espressos can often stain crockery, making it look old, grimy, and dirty for your guests. Along with all of the above steps, the processes, as discussed in previous lessons, like schedules, backflushing, soaking, and continuous cleaning, all need to be maintained throughout every day. And this way, your cleanliness and hygiene, as well as the coffees that you produce, will be of the highest standard, ensuring that your guests are satisfied and expectations are exceeded every time you make a delicious coffee. Now that we understand what backflushing is, let's have a look at the schedules. How often do we backflush? Well, it's very simple. Backflushing must be done every single hour. During service, it must always be done without detergent. Detergent is only used once at the end of the day. It's a great idea to use an hourly clock timer to keep track of when it needs to be done. Let's have a look at the steps that need to be done after each shot is pulled, each hour, and then the nightly cleaning schedule and tasks. After every shot that you pull from your espresso machine, the group head needs to have about 5 milliliters of water run through it, as well as ensuring that the steam wand is wiped with a damp cloth every single shot. Make sure the steam tip is wiped properly. If you allow it to build up, what you will get is milk sticking to the steam wand, which will make it dirty and make it more difficult to get it right with your next cup of coffee. So remember to clean every single time. It should become a habit. You should also purge some steam afterwards to ensure that no milk was sucked up into the pipe and then into the boiler. Now let's look at the tasks that need to happen every single hour during service. Each hour, there is a specific task to perform. Make sure that you get a clock that you can watch to ensure that this task is performed on the hour. This task is the backflush. Although this specific hourly backflush is done without detergent, the water backflushing needs to be continued until the residue in the blind basket appears clean and free of any solids. Then there is the important nightly duty. This should be done either at the close of the day or when all the guests are finished ordering coffee for the evening. This is the full cleaning process. Firstly, the group head needs to be backflushed with detergent. Then the shower screens and gasket need to be scrubbed with a brush, as well as soaking the portafilter in hot water and detergent for 15 minutes. Secondly, we need to make sure the steam wand is completely clean. If there is residue on the steam wand that does not come off with just a damp cloth, you need to soak the steam wand in hot water for 15 minutes. This should soften the residue sufficiently. Remember to never use abrasive cleaning materials on the steam wand. Never use scrubbing brushes, knives, the edges of straws, or fingernails. If the steam wand gets scratches, which it can do very easily, it will make it much more difficult to keep it clean and hygienic. Water filter and water softening systems. A single espresso is 98% water and only 2% coffee. This means that clean, fresh, cold water is essential when making a fine espresso. There are two types of water when it comes to water supply: hard water and soft water. Hard water is water that contains a large amount of minerals. These minerals are gained from the ground and waterways in which the water flows. The minerals picked up are mainly calcium and magnesium, as well as chalk and lime. These minerals in the water are responsible for ruining clothes, for causing dishes and glassware to have spots and residues, as well as the major enemy, limescale. We can see this often on our espresso machine and other equipment and tools. So, in order to minimize these enemies to the best of our ability, we need to soften the water that we use to make our coffee. This softened water can sometimes be slightly salty to the taste, but it reduces the damage caused to equipment and tools and increases the longevity of your espresso machine, making it an essential process. The softening of water can be done by using a water softener system or a water filter system. These water filter or softener systems will decrease the mineral content of your water, specifically the calcium content, and will also minimize the amount of limescale buildup, and therefore your machine will require less, if any, descaling maintenance calls. A system as discussed is definitely necessary in the effective running of your espresso machine. Let's have a brief look at how a water softener system works. Firstly, the hard water enters the system from an outdoor source and is either sent as hard water to the bathrooms, showers, gardens, and so forth, or it is sent to be softened before use in the sinks and in espresso machines. Secondly, as the hard water enters the softener system, the sodium or salt storage container removes the minerals from the water, making this water chalk, lime, calcium, and magnesium depleted. This is now called soft water. Thirdly, this soft water is then transferred into a water heater, where it is then used for sinks and for use in the espresso machine to make the perfect espresso. The other way to soften water is by using a water filter. There are a number of water filters that can be used to soften water. There are water filters that allow you to control the way in which you soften your water, making it perfect for specialty coffees and for steaming purposes. Or there are simply filter systems, which are easy to replace and maintain. These filters consist of simply replacing the cartridges on average every 6 months, depending on how many liters of water you use. Softening water is vital to delivering water with the right balance of minerals for making perfect espressos, as well as keeping your espresso machine limescale free. Let's have a look at station setup. Station setup is vitally important, as you should know what to check for when setting up all of the things you need at the start of each shift. How to set up your station and how to maintain it is very, very important. As important as it is to have great equipment, clean working surfaces, and the skills to make an exceptional cup of coffee, there is also the critical importance of having a cohesive and flowing station setup. This takes your service delivery from average to excellent, and it can make all the difference in delivering the perfect cup of coffee, especially when there are lots of orders and you are under pressure. Let's have a look at a few of the most important things to get right in your station setup. It's always important in your station setup to keep your coffee and your milk separate. You never want coffee grinds in your milk, and you certainly don't want milk in your coffee grinds or prepared coffees. You need to allocate a dry side and a wet side on either side of your espresso machine. The dry side is where all the dry preparation occurs, and the wet side will be where all the liquid products will be made. Therefore, it is best to grind and tamp on the dry side of the espresso machine and froth and pour the milk on the wet side of the espresso machine. Then, we need to keep our cups on top of the espresso machine. This keeps them warm and allows you to grab them easily when pulling a shot of espresso. It's also important to have saucers and spoons close to the wet side of the machine for quicker, faster, and more efficient service. Continuously check on your stock of saucers and cups so that you don't find yourself pulling an espresso with nothing to land it in. Then, we need to keep our cloths separate. We need to keep one cloth to wipe out the portafilter, another cloth to wipe the steam wand, and the third cloth to wipe the counters and the espresso machine. Remember, never ever mix the cloths. This is so important for hygiene. Then, depending on the design of your station, it is of course ideal to have the fridge nearby for easy access to the milk, as well as having a sink nearby. This is helpful as every time your pitcher is used, you can easily rinse out the milk from the pitcher to ensure that it is spotlessly clean for every use. Always make sure that your station, equipment, and tools are clean and organized. Get into the habit of doing it right every time, as this will help you when the pressure is on. Good luck.